Hi everyone, my name's Richard Armstrong. I'm an IT technology consultant. I currently work as an enterprise architect for the UK government. I also am a technology consultant for everything to do with immersive computing and XR, which is AR and VR, and the metaverse, and helping organizations prepare their IT strategy for this next major generational change in global communications. There are a number of concerns around immersive computing and what will be the metaverse over the coming years. This is because there are going to be many more new channels of data that organizations and institutions will be able to glean from people and from anybody who uses their platform. They will be able to get more information, such as your movements, your actions and habits. There'll be much more biometric type information that they will be able to glean from your persona. And this is going to be a major concern for data privacy, because there will be lots more data that they can get from you. Now, this is a two-way street. This can be a very beneficial thing certainly for the organizations, especially if they're promoting or want you to use their product. They'll be able to get much more usage information about how you use their product. But also on the other side, it will be very important for the user to be aware that they're gaining this information from you. For example, the metaverse and the way global immersive computing will work will be through many new devices, such as AR glasses that you may wear on your face. And those glasses will be able to take a lot more information about you. It will have eye tracking, for instance. It will be able to measure the diameter of your pupil of your eye and know exactly where you're looking. It will also be able to get information such as your body temperature, your heart rate, things like that. And this will help organizations understand how you interact with their product, or what you look at when you walk down the street, for instance. There are a number of things that need to be defined over the next coming years. These are around regulatory requirements and law and data privacy law. For instance, the current GDPR laws are okay for today's current computing environment and for data privacy, but those laws will need to be enhanced to be able to also cater for the additional amounts of biometric data and movement data that they will be able to get from everyone. And what that'll need is user consent. The whole thing about GDPR is to make sure that the user consents to any data that they might be giving away. So it'll be very important for organizations to make the user aware that they are going to, for instance, do eye tracking on for where you're looking. Now, a lot of users may not want that, and so you'll need to have the opportunity to decline them taking that data, much like they do on your mobile phone or your desktop when you go to certain websites. This will be very important to legislate all of this, especially across international boundaries. It can't be just say the European Union. It's got to be the whole world. It's got to be a global standard for privacy, and of course it'll be difficult to mandate that in certain countries. For instance, China, it might be difficult there because the Chinese government might just set their own rules for that. But it can be addressed, this concern. But it's the organisations and the IT standards organisations need to move fast, because this technology is coming very soon. In fact, it's here already, but it's not in the mainstream yet. And it'll be very important to have privacy controls in everything you do in immersive computing. But the technology is there, it can be done, but we must make it a law and mandate it so that organisations don't take advantage of these new data privacy concerns. There are multiple benefits for this. We see when we use this, I'll first look at the benefits for organisations that might be, say you're looking at a new car and you want to look at that car in a showroom, in an environment where you're in a retail showroom of a car, and you're sitting in the car and you're looking around at the car. They will be able to get the information of the parts of the car that you're most interested in without you needing to say anything. For instance, you might be looking at, I don't know, the air conditioning controls on the car and the climate control or the displays that are in the car. And so what they will do is, first of all, give very valuable analytics information to the manufacturer of that car, knowing that people like that certain part of the car or certain part of the vehicle. But it also gives insight to the salespeople who might be selling the car to you, that the salesperson will be able to say, well, okay, so these are all the features about the air conditioning controls that you might be looking at. So they can preempt what you're looking at, and that's highly valuable to sales and commercial personnel. So that sort of thing is very important, but there are also many other benefits for the user itself. If we can use the biometric data that comes from using augmented reality glasses, your phone, all of the information about what you do in your life can be all collated and analysed, and all that data can be analysed on your phone, much like many of the fitness apps that are on phones, and showing where you've gone, how far you've run or walked, what your heart rate has been. Getting all of that information can be very, very valuable to you as a person. Also, that you can share that information, say, with your doctor or wherever you might go later on, and you can say, here is all the information of where I've been, is this the reason I've got a sore arm or whatever. So there are lots of beneficial information for the person itself. Now, the key is to make sure that the individual has control over their own data, and also that they share the right amount of data with any third-party organisations. One other thing that's very important and will be very important in the future and very beneficial for people in things like the metaverse and using augmented reality glasses is identity. So being able to validate your identity. So for instance, when you put on your glasses or whatever, you'll be able to access the various IT systems or access airports and places like that by being able to validate your identity through your own biometrics. So this means that these, for instance, augmented reality glasses can very accurately read your eye and look at your iris print, and that can validate, and you can use that information as a non-fungible token, this is an NFT, to make sure that that is you and that is your data. So, and that is you accessing whatever system. This will prevent the need in future for needing passwords and using two-factor authentication, using other devices using even passports in the future. This may be the way that you have a passport and you move through an airport. Just by scanning your face and your eyes, you will be able to validate your identity, and they'll be sure that it definitely is you. So that's one of the really great advantages of using this tech in future. But it needs to be controlled, and it needs to be, many more regulations have to be put in place. And that's the biggest risk over the next 10 years, because those regulations are, historically, they've been slow to get in place, and the technology tends to move faster than the regulations that are needed to catch up with that. So it'll be up to many organizations themselves to show the consumer that they're a trustworthy organization, and they'll have to prove that to the consumer. And that will be a challenge for all of these large companies. But I'm sure they're going to do it, because they're going to do it for their own benefit, to gain more customers and to gain more revenue for their organization.